Cake, cake, Reiki or cake. 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 Reiki or cake. Hello and welcome to Roman Nose. When I'm not eating cake, I do love a bit of Reiki. Or so the rumour goes. And today, please join me to explore a very specific issue that you will most likely be facing, even if you don't know it yet. There's a standard response Reiki therapy masters tend to go to when they are asked a difficult question about specifics in treatment. The Reiki will flow wherever it needs to. Now, this is a foundational philosophy in Usui Reiki and one that is universally accepted. However, call me a lush, but I need more. As a hungry hippo for Reiki and cake, I want to be a proactive part of the healing experience. When working with a client or student, it is important for me to gain insight into what's happening and how I can best help the client or student. You see, in the philosophy of one therapy, Reiki doesn't go anywhere. It's there already. The Reiki does not flow through us. Reiki is a universal constant, remaining authentic to that core principle of Reiki therapy. If it were to flow, what would it flow from and into? Well, Reiki. So Reiki simply is everywhere, all the time. Committing to the universal constant ethos, I take the approach that we flow through Reiki. Our lifetime is like a droplet of water in a waterfall. We are born at the top, and as we travel to the stream below, we glint and glisten in the sunlight. Or, in this particular analogy, Reiki. Refracting light and colours as we interact with all the all-encompassing rays. Knowing Reiki is everywhere at all times opens up the possibility of exploration. What is the specific thing a person wishes to explore in their treatment? This does not preclude generalised treatment, but it does add a viridian perspective to the treatment. We'll cover more about the nature of viridian treatments in another video. One thing I like to work on myself is stress of socials, because social media is a challenging experience for most people, even if they don't know it. Whenever there is the possibility of a social interaction online, a specific phenomenon takes place. This consists of low-level trauma, deep-level abuse, or some other damaging interaction. On the face of it, these interactions seem so innocuous as to be laughed off or totally ignored. Yet that is a conscious process. We encounter all manner of throwaway statements that mean nothing to the commenter, but they play into the narratives we have about ourselves upon a deep level of psyche. The neurochemical triggers from those subliminal reactions create a background wash of stress, cortisol and adrenaline triggering in the viewer as posters post for the lols. Of course, I'm not talking about online abuse, hate or trolling. It's about the vague stuff, the stuff we don't pay much attention to, the post that seems so silly as to be dismissed without thought, the subtle criticisms, biases and prejudices. It's the microaggressions, passive or otherwise, the inconsequent digs at those we identify as, or unintentional instances of gaslighting or stereotype affirming. No matter how much we ignore the goings-on online, we do notice them and we do respond, albeit like static or white noise in the distance. Living with this each day drains us, causing us emotional fatigue, psychological distress, and even physical symptoms. The nebulous causes sail past without a moment's thought, but lingering on in the ambiguous saturation of chemical stress within us. How can you tackle this strange social miasma with Reiki therapy? Well, in one therapy, we work with matrices, an arena or a specific area of the realms. And it's here things get interesting. Because if you start paying attention to those low-level social stress interactions, you get to know which variety affect you the most. For example, do you notice a response within you to comments about your age group, generational classification, or the way you look? Comments such as old people, 40 plus. Why are Gen X so prehistoric? How do people with wrinkles face going out in public? If so, I recommend exploring the high peaks of the mountain range with Celtic Reiki or V-Reiki. This Viridio code will help. If you react to being unseen or unheard, your voice and opinion being completely dismissed by the noise of others, the forgotten fell of Celtic Reiki is a very powerful environment to tread. This is especially effective for the queer community or women who have experienced oppression, subtle or otherwise. I recommend working with the Fell Witch, especially in these circumstances. Here is the Viridi code for both the Fell Witch and the Forgotten Fell. If you notice obscure reactions to comments about relationships, love, or being single, being alone, breakups and so on, visit the Spring of Axiom and gaze into Skugi, who will reveal the underlying dynamics. You can find him by using the Viridi code here. And finally, if material possessions or resources are your trigger, such as money or financial circumstances, debt, home, security, and essentially anything that refers to lack or poverty, take a trip to Sycamore Glade with the Viridi code here. The Glade is a part of the Celtic Reiki experience, and it's rather a good catch-all for any low-level abuse, trauma or stress trigger. Exploring these aspects of the realms will create a dampening of the triggers because you are immersed in that specific place. The realm creates a subtle disconnect from the miasmatic experience, so it softens it and, over time, diminishes it extensively. Some of the areas mentioned today can be found in the Crafty Swine of Roman Nose. Sign up for free and there you'll get to experience a selection of the current media experiences we are creating in one therapy. More about that soon. But for now, I sincerely hope today's exploration has been insightful, and you'll probably be needing some cake about now. I know I do. But hey, nothing new there. Another universal constant. For now and always, be enchanted.